Hello, 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 and welcome to the last podcast for 2022 and all the predictions, premonitions, prognostications, and anything else that you can begin to think about that starts with the P that was going to forecast the future is what we're going to be doing for the next 30 minutes. So sit back, relax, open up a beer, have a glass of wine, have some fun, because we're going to get into the nitty gritty of what 2023 holds for all of us. Okay, so 2022, for some, a lot better than 2021. For a lot of people, I know you've lost people. For that, I am genuinely and truly sorry. But what we're going to do today is we're not going to look at the loss. We are not going to look at the pain and suffering. We are not going to look at the problems. We are going to look at the solutions and what you can do with the information I give you so that you can make 2023 whatever you want it to be, however you want it to be, with whomever you want it to be. All right, seeing as though we got that clear, now we're going to look at 2023. Is it going to be love or heartache for you? Are you going to find passion and be victorious and shine? Or are you going to be one of those people who hides away, doesn't really do anything, doesn't really see anything, doesn't really get anything? The choice, as always, is going to be up to you. In and of itself, 2023 is going to be actually, from an energetic standpoint, a really good year. You've got three things that came up big time in 2023. They are alchemy, intuition, and shining the sun. So the first one, alchemy, the ability to turn lead into gold, sadness to happiness, transcend different situations, whether it be realities, your situation, whatever. It's all about turning the bad into the good. We've had the bad. We've gone through COVID. We've lost jobs. We've seen people suffer. Now it's about finding the good. It's about taking what you have and turning it into the good. Intuition. Intuition is going to be on full max. If you think you were intuitive before, you actually will know that you're intuitive. If you have thoughts, ideas, premonitions, your thoughts and ideas, premonitions, dreams are going to be off the charts. Energetically, 2023 is kind of a year in which you're going to really see the energies dialed up, especially around dreams, feelings, connections, all kinds of energetic stuff. That's all going to be highlighted. And finally, the ability to shine, the sun. Your ability to shine is going to be out there because what's going to happen in 2023 is the people that say, yes, I will, are going to be the ones that have the fun. The ones that go out to the dance and say, would you like to dance with me, are going to be the ones that have the fun. The people who stand against the wall, those people, well, those people are going to be missing out because this is a wonderful opportunity for all of you to be able to shine by using your intuitive abilities to turn sadness to happiness, to turn lead into gold, or to transcend your situation by intuitively understanding that we all want to shine and we all have something to bring. Remember, the purpose of your life is to figure out who you are and why you're here. What gifts do you have? The meaning of life comes when you share those gifts with people. A dollar bill doesn't do you any good. For example, this right here, this is Elvis. And Elvis carries a $100 bill in his mouth. And the joke is, if you can get the $100 bill from Elvis's mouth, you can spend it. Well, he sits on my desk, so nobody really gets the $100 bill, but nothing is ever done with the $100 bill. It's just a joke. It's a joke piece. And for so many of us, we have talents that are just a joke. Not because they aren't valuable, but because we never use them. We don't spend them. We don't share them. Therefore, there's not a lot of meaning to them. The $100 bill in his mouth is just a piece of paper. It really has no value because it never is going to get spent because it was a gift. Now, it has sentimental value and it has a lot of deep feelings associated with it, but it's not something that I'm going to do something with. Unlike other things that I'm going to be doing certain things with in 2023. For example, I personally am going to be using intuition doing classes and courses on intuition, prediction, and doing different things like that, energy work, how that applies, where it applies, what it applies to. You'll see next year. I personally am going to be doing all kinds of things associated with trying to make things better, from volunteering in my community to political activism and several other things that I hope to see have happen next year. And that's trying to turn lead into gold. And finally, I just want to be the very best person I can be. Trying to be just a good person in this world. If at the end of your life you can say, hey, I was a good person, and a room full of people start shaking their head up and down saying, yes, you were, you had an incredible run. It's incredibly difficult to just be a good person these days, believe it or not. Temptation, the idea of vanity, the idea of comparing yourself, there's so many things that can pull you off track and out of whack. So if all you're going to try and do for the next 365 days, 525,600 minutes is just be the best version of yourself you can be, and guarantee you won't always be that, but if you try, you got no complaints from me. That's difficult. And that's what 2023 is all about. It's about the try. It's about taking the things that you have and expressing them, putting meaning behind them. They do nobody any good if they just sit in the garage or sit behind your eyes, or you sit behind a chair waiting for somebody to ask you to dance. 2023 is not about sitting and waiting. 2023 is about going out and doing. All right, enough of the spiel. Let's get into some of the things that are going to be happening now. I broke this down into 4 quadrants, which is physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And I also broke it down in a month by month kind of way. So we're going to look at what's going to be happening in the physical world. I've got 3 things: emotional world, 3 things; mental world, 3 things; spiritual world, 3 things. And then lastly, we're going to have to go through each month. And then if anybody has any questions about themselves and what's going on for them, then they can give me an email, send me an email at todd@toddhershey.com, and I'll be happy to answer that for you. All right, so what are we looking at in the physical world? Physical world, you're going to see a lot of stuff around the selfishness of people. Selfishness, cruelty, meanness of other people. You're also going to see a lot of people going back to love. So you'll see selfishness and people going back to love. And the final thing is that you will be seeing a lot of people stopping themselves. And when I put that all together, those 3 areas or those 3 things, what it says is, when it comes to selfish people being loved and adored, people are not going to do it anymore. People are going to stop themselves, and people stop themselves from loving narcissists and blowhards and people who want to gaslight you and look at me, aren't I wonderful? So the era of Kardashian is looking like not a good thing in 2023. Just fame for fame's sake, not good things. If you want to be an influencer, 2023 may not be the best year for you, especially if all you've got to peddle is bullshit or selfishness or, hey, look at me, aren't I wonderful? It just seems like, first of all, there's a massive backlash with people who are lying, cheating, stealing, because a lot of these people are just no longer in vogue. People are fed up with their stupidness. People are fed up with a divide and conquer aspect of politics: rich versus poor, black versus white, Republican and Democrat, red and blue. All that stuff really goes downhill quickly. It doesn't really pan out to be one of those people. People are just tired of it. They're sick of it. I think in 2024, you're really going to see that come into fruition. And you're going to see a lot of the moderate people coming back into vogue, moderation, getting things done, putting your nose to the grindstone, that kind of thing. And I think a lot of the other people who are not in that way, but rather think of themselves first, the narcissists, will be severely curtailed, and they won't be able to do the things that they used to be able to do. And I'll explain to you why in a little bit. The other thing that's going to be happening too is the idea of people gaslighting each other. That seems to be pretty much on the way out too. It's just not going to be possible. There's going to be a specific cry against that. And that gaslighting is going to be of a political nature and of an economic nature. So there's going to be a big outcry against the rich and powerful. And think of it like a French Revolution. It's the aristocracy, the people that you don't see. So I'm assuming that there's going to be quite a few hiccups around the money situation and the interest rates and what's happening with the interest rates. And you will see the interest rates continue to climb. And there's nothing any of us can do about that. They're just going to raise them. But there's going to be some powerful questions with regards to the powerful people. You're already seeing it with regards to why weren't Trump's tax returns audited? And you'll see it with regards to next year, the Federal Reserve and who's looking out after them. You'll see it with the IRS again, hiring 80 some odd thousand people to look into your stuff. Everything is going to be more transparent, and people are not going to be able to hide like they used to be able to hide. And a lot of these blowhards, narcissistic politicians who are screaming at the top of their lungs, me, I, they're going to be the ones who get crucified by the mob. And their stuff is going to come out in big ways, and people are just going to really pull back away from that. So heads up on that one. All right. The other thing that came up really big in the physical world was the environment. Long-term things are going to get worse before they get better. So look out for major storms becoming worse, earthquakes and tsunamis, volcanoes, all of it to be getting a lot worse. Is there anything anybody can do about it? No, there's not. Because the earth changes. The earth changes over time. And that's just the way it is. Do we affect change? Of course we affect change. Are we causing the changes? Yes. To the degree, I have no idea. It's one of those things where the earth is going to change. 70,000 years ago, the sea level is not where it is today. 70,000 years ago, you can walk from San Francisco out to the Farallon Islands, which are now, that path is completely covered by about, 160 feet, 300 feet of water and deeper. It's just the earth goes through changes. The changes are going to get more severe. Therefore, what can you do? Get solar panels. Buy some food for a couple of weeks. Make sure you have clean water. Make sure you have a backup generator. I know to a lot of you who know me and a lot of people I'm going to be talking to, you've already done this. You've already done your homework. But for a lot of other people, do yourself a favor. Go out and help them out. Get them some things that they can use to survive, to thrive. We're already seeing power outages and different things like that. I'm seeing that we're going to need to take care of ourselves, because one of the things that really made clear was that the leaders are not on top of this as they should be. And the reason why is that there is no real clean, clear-cut explanation as to why. And even worse, there's no kind of quick and easy remedy on how to fix it. So it's political nitroglycerin. Nobody wants to touch it. Nobody wants to deal with it. Therefore, the best thing you can do is handle it yourself. Think about where you're living. Think about the kind of lifestyle that you want to live, and move to that kind of place. Get to that place. If you are in some of the harsher environments, do yourself a favor, weatherize your home. Stockpile a couple things in case the power goes out. Do the things that are necessary to handle the problems that you will be facing. You do that, you'll be fine. I don't really see any of the bad weather stuff coming for another of several years. But that doesn't mean that you won't see mass floodings, tornadoes, and all the rest of the good stuff that happens with wild and crazy weather patterns. So be smart, protect yourself, okay? Last thing for the physical world are viruses. They're out there. There's still potential for that stuff to get out there and be very successful. They look like they return, but there is more of the normalcy that you saw in 2000, like 17, 18, 19, 17, 18. In other words, everybody still keeps working. Everybody does all that stuff. Do people get sick? Yeah, people do get sick, and they just muddle through it. It just says that the viruses get weaker. There's just going to be more of them. And you'll see a lot more people who are sick out there. So one of the things you want to do is you want to get completely well. Do yourself a favor. It says that a lot of this stuff It's just chipping away at people. It's hammering away at people. So think of yourself at 100%. You get a virus, you're down to 94. Okay? You feel better, you get back up to 96, but you're not 100 anymore. You're down 4%. And then you get another virus and you're down to 83%. And you feel better and you're back up to 85. Well, now you're down to 15% from where you were. It just says continual viral action will cause people to get more lethargic and it'll be harder for people to get along. Symptoms include, but are not limited to, brain fog, coughing your head off, tiredness all the time, achy joints, all the long COVID stuff there. Okay. It's all setting up to slowly and gradually compromise your immune system. And therefore, you want to make sure you're taking care of yourself, you're getting good sleep, good food, and all the nutrients, supplements that you need, including your vitamin D. And do yourself a favor. One of the things that was talking about in this for 2023 is that a lot of people are going to try and do these crazy 80-hour work weeks or try and push a bunch of work into a very small time. That might be the 4-day work week. They're going to try and get 80 hours out of you in 4 days. It's not worth dying for to do that. So don't do that. All in all, 2023, from the physical world standpoint, is one of those things where if you take care of yourself, you will be fine and there will be no problems. If you choose not to take care of yourself, if you choose not to heed these warnings, then yeah, there's going to be a lot of problems for you and it could be pretty miserable. Again, the condition of 2023 is what you put into 2023. I mean, I wish I could tell you that you could sit on your ass, eat cake, and do nothing all day, and 2023 is going to make you look like a supermodel. It's not. But if you do the correct things, you won't be one of the people who's dragging ass all day long because you're tired, your brain is foggy, and for some reason your your joints are all achy, and you just really can't do anything. So do yourself a favor. Take care of yourself. Don't wait for the politicians to take care of you, and you'll be fine. Okay, emotional life. Emotional world in 2023 goes back and forth. Okay. And the reason why it goes back and forth is because it talks about you finally are able to grab a hold and take care of things. It just talks about people getting solid with other people again. And it talks about, like I said up at the beginning of this, it talks about there's a lot of people that become petty and judgmental. And the petty and judgmental people, the blowhards, the narcissists, and everything else, those people are way out of balance. It's all about them. It's not an equal relationship in which is give and take. It's always about the give to them. And again, those kinds of people are going to be gone. And selfishness is a big negative in 2023. Being seen as selfish, being seen as a gaslighter, being seen as a taker is not a good thing. Relationships will be going back and forth with regards to stability, but people that are able to form a union will stay in a union. And anybody who tries to break up your union is going to be out. It talks about people are like, if you can bring peace and harmony into my life, great. If you can't, get the hell away from me. So a lot of the parasitical people in life will be gone. For those of you who are at a certain age and you're like, well, there's just nobody good out there for me to be in a relationship, that's just incredible bullshit because that's not true at all. Your picking might suck, but it's not as though there aren't good people out there. That's really important to remember because there's going to be a lot of work already done on you, where you've come from, and how you've been. So now the only thing that's going to stop you from you is yourself. You can stop yourself by choosing to pick the same cruel, selfish, non-attentive, non-listening kind of people who just do whatever the hell they want, and then you'll be stuck back in the same cycles. Okay? So if you're doing relationship, then make sure your relationship meets the threshold of viability when it comes to being with somebody, i.e., they need to show up, they need to put up, and they need to live up to their word. And then it'll be a lot easier for you to be in a relationship if that is the case, if you have somebody like that. Now, you'll find out real quickly if they can or if they can't. Okay? Do they show up? In other words, do they make you a priority? Do they put up? Do they look out after you? Do they treat you as if you are special? And that's not buying you a plane, a car, or that crap. It's about giving you what it is that you need. And for some people, that might be a plane. For other people, it might be just a smile and a hand to hold on to. And the final thing is that, are they good to their word? Okay? So if you can put all that stuff together, then you won't have the problem with the selfish, narcissistic people that we were talking about, because they're going to be out there. And 2023 is about you saying no to those people and yes to yourself. And you do that, relationships are going to be fantastic. Okay, personally for 2023, self-love is a huge topic, is what it's saying. When it comes to loving yourself and getting ready for the barrage of negativity, it says you don't have to deal with the negativity. You can just step back. It says something is created for the purpose of judging yourself and what you have done in the work and stability for yourself to move forward in 23. So if you've done the work and you've thought about things and you've experienced things and you've processed things, then you're going to be fine. A lot of other people are not. A lot of other people are going to find some really hard times in 2023, because if you haven't done your work, then you're going to be selfish, and those selfish people are going to find each other and they're going to just tear each other apart, because a lot of the nice people are going to be like, well, we're done with selfish people, and the only people that selfish people have left are more selfish people. And if you've ever seen those people get into a room with each other, it's absolutely hilarious. All they want to do is take from each other, and it's just like the Three Stooges. And it's absolutely beautiful to see somebody get their own medicine. So make sure that when you are doing 2023 about yourself, it asks you to look at yourself, and it asks you to ask, what have you created when it comes to your work and stability for relationship? Don't be judging others. The question is, what have you done? It's going to be one of those things where if you think of something like Facebook, where people are always judging each other and things like that, your judgment upon yourself will be far harder and harsher than what Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and everything else does. It says that 2023, you're going to be really looking at yourself and saying, have I done the work? And if you haven't, just really get on it. One thing I'd like to say about that, not everybody who's a family member is a good person. And not everybody who's supposed to help you will. And that's something that you need to get very clear on in 2023. Because a lot of people are trying to get hooked up in situations in which they take and they're going to mess up stability. And 2023 is about you gaining stability for yourself. And that starts, here at home with yourself. You do that, you'll be fine. Okay, world relationships, countries, large corporations, things like that. World relationships change quite a bit, but it seems as though gridlock seems to be on the way for the world, which means people become more entrenched, or nations become more entrenched in their own fixed positions. People will change, and then countries change. So even though people are changing, 2023 is great for people to change. What it's saying is that there is a lot of gridlock with countries, and they get downright mine, me, my, which means that the people that are running these countries think that they're doing the right things, but they actually might be creating more harm than good. A lot of people will say, well, my country first, when in reality, it has to be an agreement that's going to solve the problem. If you think that our situation on the southern border of America is going to be solved by a completely zero immigration policy, then yeah, you know absolutely zero about immigration and how this country works and what the Statue of Liberty, has to say about that. It's not going to work. It's going to have to be a cooperative in which all sides and all parties agree for things to work. Okay. There's also going to be a lot of stuff coming up, Middle East and different things that are going to be very tragic. And it's one of those things where you're going to see a lot of people in situations where you're going to see countries and religions and different things like that in the name of doing blank, in the name of God, in the name of country, in the name of, I'm going to keep doing this for my race, my gender, my religion, my God, my prophet. And a lot of these things are going to be called out in a huge way underneath a huge, white, hot, glaring spotlight, in which when people kind of look at things, it says people are going to be pissed. People are going to be like, no, that's not cool. It's not okay at all. And I kind of think that's going to be a wonderful thing. So a lot of the old ways of rallying the people and different things like that, they don't work anymore. It just gets pointed out as selfishness does not really buy you a lot in 2023. I'll explain to you why at the end of this. And the fun part is that all the selfish people aren't going to listen to this message. And they're the ones that are going to get smacked down. All right, what's going to be happening in the mental world? The mental world, thoughts, thinking, different things like that. You're going to see a lot more righteousness. You're going to see the ability of people to cut through lies, red tape, bullshit from anyone and everyone. You're going to see a lot of people out there demanding the truth so that there can be peace, so there can be harmony. And anybody who is lying, okay, that's who they're going to go after. Anybody who's lying or deceitful, deception, and everything else that's screwing with the balance, those people are going to get smacked so damn hard. Take the recent Congressman Santos who lied about his resume. People are going to be going after other people. And the reason why is that you can't hide like you used to be able to hide. At one point in the world, if you lived in, say, I don't know, Germany, you could probably go hide in Australia. Say it's 1705. Move to Australia. Hey, you're fine. Nobody knows you. Now, that won't work. Our technology has gotten so good that there's no real place to run and hide anymore. And because there's no place to run and hide, it's saying that getting really pissed at people messing up the Kool-Aid, messing up the calm, messing up the chill. And it's saying that they're going to get really pissed at people who are lying and deceiving. Okay, so individually, people have had enough. They start to question what is actually going on. They start to wonder and have active misgivings around business as usual, especially with money, politics, and the environment. They become mistrustful around the institutions that don't think about that. So in other words, a lot of institutions don't think about how the average person thinks or feels. They just are these monoliths that just go about doing whatever it is the hell that they want to do and figure people will just go along for the ride. And it says people don't. People get really pissed and people become really mistrustful around institutions they don't think care about them, even though the institutions actually put in television commercials saying, but we do care. And people are just like, no, you really don't. If you've ever had the misfortune of dealing with an alcoholic who's on their 45th or 6th time telling you that they're going to stop because they really care, and yet they go out drinking again, that's going to be these, institutions, these political institutions of people trying to just run roughshod over somebody else. It doesn't work in 2023, or not as badly. Okay. One of the big things it came up with was money in the bank that belongs to you will always be there for you. That's not true. The money in the bank, it's in the bank, belongs to them. It doesn't belong to you. If you have any misgivings or any doubt about that, try and get your money out when there's a banking rush. That safety deposit box that you signed off, read the fine print. What's in there is basically theirs if the bank shuts down. It just seems like there's been something happens where there's like a breach of protocol or a breach of etiquette, and people are going to want answers. And these institutions are going to have to, say it. Think Southwest. Southwest just got crushed because their IT went down. Okay, that's one of the monoliths. The airline industry. We do what we want. We don't give a shit. You have to listen to what we say. That Southwest thing is going to cause that company headaches for the next several years. And it's going to change a whole lot of things around the flying and things around going to different places. When you buy an airline ticket, that's not a guarantee that you have that seat. That is a reservation for that seat. And if you read the fine print carefully, you're going to start seeing that, wow, that's really not a guaranteed thing. Because let's face it, there's acts of God, there's people getting bumped. For anybody who travels a lot, you know what that's like. And it happens now with politics, banking, and institutions that are supposed to deal and look out after the environment, which includes power companies, oil companies, and different things like that. So there's a lot of people out there that start to kind of say, no, we're not okay with this. We want to know what the truth is. And there's going to be a lot of information spilled out about policies. Just like you're seeing a lot of information getting spilled out from the January 6th Commission. There's going to be a hell of a lot more than that in 2023. Okay, work. What's going to happen for people, for just basic working people? You working stiffs such as myself out there. And what it talks about is people are going to have a tricky time around work. Situations such as the supply chain start to choke up. Interest rates increase, etc. And the more likely they are to fiddle with things, the worse it gets. Kind of like a keloid scar. The more you screw with it, the more it gets bad. And people get really upset. People need to have some calm and some peace. And the people that can bring the calm and the peace are going to be the people that are going to be put in power. People that are screaming at the top of their lungs at other people, calling them names, doing things like that. Those are the people that are going to get waylaid to the side. There's going to be definitely things that get stuck, but that doesn't mean you have to get stuck. As long as you are going to be creating, you'll be fine. Everybody's going to be searching for the next best thing. And they're going to be tired of a lot of the infighting, backbiting, and all this shit on social media. You see that with Twitter right now. It's like people are just like, oh, I'm done with the drama. Drama is not going to succeed next year. It's going to be about people just finding peace and different things like that. If you can be the person who has the materials that are needed to stock up on parts or for the supply chain, or if you're the person that can actually help people when interest rates go up, replan and restructure their financial things, you're going to make a fortune. You're going to make a bloody fortune. Okay? The first millionaire in the state of California, I forget the guy's name, but what he did was, while everybody was out looking for gold, he was out buying axes, shovels, blue jeans, and things like that, all for about a dime. And then he turned around and he sold them for $20. Bought a shovel for a dime, sell it for $20. Great business model. Guess what happened? You got rich, first millionaire. And that's what it talks about here. There's going to be all kinds of opportunities with a stuck supply chain for you to create and build and manufacture. The guys that can build things, manufacture things, work with their hands, Jesus, these guys are going to see an opportunity like there's no tomorrow, as long as they can get the parts. And that's going to be the tricky part. Okay, last part of the mental thing, the rich and politically connected, which I guess is kind of redundant. If you're rich, you're normally politically, connected. And if you've been politically connected for a very long time, you're usually pretty rich. You're going to see a lot of those people beat a hasty retreat into nowhere, which means that they just won't be visible. It's not that they go away, they just won't be visible. There's a real lack of love from the crowd and partisan players that will make them no longer be wanting to come out and face crowds, because people are just so tired of their bullshit. You'll see a lot more uproar around things, around the Federal Reserve, term limits, that kind of stuff that makes sense, a flat tax. All that stuff that makes a lot of sense is going to come up. And there's going to be a lot of politicians and different things like that that are going to have to deal with that. And it's going to be, why were these things manipulated for so long by the powerful? And the reason why, and I'll get into it a little bit here. What happens is that the technology has progressed. We've gone from a Piscean age to an Aquarian age, or basically pencils and ledgers to computers to now supercomputers and AI. And the reality is that people just can't hide. For those of you who know me, you know that I absolutely love Duncan MacLeod and the Clan MacLeod from Highlander and everything that implies. And in the old days, you could just become a whole new person. Well, as I said earlier, you can't just become a whole new person anymore. The technological revolution, as it appears, that nobody can hide anymore. So a lot of these powerful institutions and these powerful people are no longer going to be able to hide what they do and how they do it, and the means and modes in which they get their money. And that's going to be a huge part of 2023. And there's going to be a whole lot of, nobody feels sorry for your rich ass when you have splendor and 12 mansions. It's just not American to feel sorry for that guy when he whines about all the bad things that happened to him, especially when there's so many people that are not going to be able to pay for things, because the way the financial system is set up is that as the interest rate goes up on the national debt, there's not going to be enough base to cover that debt. And it's just going to get higher and higher and higher and feed on itself, kind of like the snake that eats its own tail. All right, that's enough of the mental world. Getting on to the spiritual world, something a little bit more positive, or a lot more positive. The first thing I get is Ace of Clubs. And for those of you who don't know what that means, is God's spirit coming together as one with the world. And I also get Five of Clubs, which is communications or a path in which the words and form of the spiritual world come into present. And I get the Nine of Diamonds, which is long-term success and happiness. It's literally saying on the spiritual world, people go through an awakening to say, this is who I am, this is what I am. And they tell their truth. They speak their truth. I am a Christian. This is my truth. I'm a Muslim. This is my truth. But it's done in such a way that they don't say, I'm better than you, but rather, this is who I am. This is what's coming again. And it may sound kind of crazy, but if there was going to be a second coming of a prophet or an angel or something like that, 2023 looks damn fine for that. As in, it actually could happen in 2023. That's what it's saying. Even if it doesn't happen, that an angel or a prophet should happen to come down to earth or come up from earth or wherever they come from, it is saying you can recognize your own God self. You can actually become the highest version of yourself. You can become this dignified person in which your higher aspects shine, and your communication is seeing that. People just see it in you. People see you, and they really see you and your magnificence. And that can happen for a very long time. So coming into your own in 2023 is definitely a real possibility. So individually, we're all having a better relationship with the head-heart dynamic. Actually, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, it says it's a wonderful time for people to get all in tune. And it says that because of that, people are going to stop playing a lot of the zero-sum games, the either or, the which is better. black or white, red or yellow, green or blue, rich or poor, tall or short. Nobody gives a shit. It's about the integration of various aspects. So in the old days, it used to, old days, 2000, before this time, it was about separating people apart. Zero sum, me or them, us or them, one or zero. Now the cool thing is going to be the integration. How do you integrate various aspects of yourself to create a whole? How do you integrate all these different people to create a community? How do you integrate all of these beliefs to create a spiritual movement? 2023 is all about, in a word, integration, and various aspects of that. The people and institutions, these are all going to be wanting to be integrated together. And that's why the people are going to be so pissed at institutions that are like, well, our way versus you. It's going to be like, no, that's not going to work for us. And that's going to be actually a very cool thing. So look for relationships with employees and bosses to get better. And if they're not, look for the employees to go, the hell with you, I'm out. Look for individuals to really get like, hey, we're only going to buy from the people that we trust. We're only going to buy from the people that we believe in. And corporations really listen to that, especially when it affects their bottom line, because the people got the dollars, not the companies. And they decide to not spend them with situations that are not in unison with their beliefs. And their beliefs are going to be about the integration. Okay? Some people are going to face, some people are going to have to face a problem with inertia. And that is, the inertia is we've been doing things for such a long time that it's hard to actually tell somebody that this is how we're going to do them now. Okay? And those people will just say, well, look, that's just the way it is. Yes, for stupid, lazy people who don't believe in change, but things keep changing. And a lot of people are going to be afraid to go into that change. A lot of people are going to be afraid to progress into that change. They're going to be wanting to stay into the old ways. That's not going to be able to be doable. Okay? We kind of, for some reason, have lost a lot of the reasons why we do things the way we do. Those reasons are going to be brought up. Why do we charge interest rates? Why do we charge interest rates at the way that we charge interest rates? Most people don't know that. Most people don't know the difference between M1 money supply and M2 money supply. Most people don't know the difference between why babies, have this diet versus that diet. We just kind of go along with things that we're told. But there's a lot of people that are just used to doing things a certain way, and that's all going to get upended. We need to kind of evolve beyond, well, I've just never used a computer, so I won't use a computer. But there's going to be a lot of fear and a lot of hesitance going from A to B. So try and be as kind as you can to people that are afraid to move forward. Okay, which is tricky because a lot of those people, when they get really afraid, become angry, and angry people are hard to deal with. That's just the bottom line. Yeah. The reason why things are going to have to change, they're too costly to maintain. It doesn't work. It's like you got to be really rich to have a Duesenberg. It's a car, 20s, beautiful car, but if the thing breaks, it's really expensive. It's not like you can just go out and get parts. A lot of our systems are so old and so antiquated that they'll just be breaking down. And just like with the Southwest things, there won't be, they need to replace the whole damn thing. There's no sense in patching anymore. And so in 2023, you'll see a lot of people just going, this is an old, bad way. This is an old, bad system. We need a new system. Okay? There will be some people that will be in denial that they need to update, and the future doesn't care if you're in denial, just like the future doesn't care if you don't believe that you're getting older. All you got to do is get out of bed in the morning and you realize that you are older. So a lot of these systems are so old and so dilapidated that they're just going to be crashing. A lot of people are going to want to keep the status quo. They just won't be able to. Okay? And that inertia, those people are going to be out. So don't be one of those inertia people where you're stuck because you can't go into the new thing. Be all for the new things and you'll be fine. Overall spiritual energies. We will literally seek a energetic divorce with some of the physical mental worlds so that there can be change in the spiritual world, leading to a better path for everyone. Long-term kindness will be in vogue. The long-term craziness of the past, saying, I'm better than you, it doesn't play well in 2023. It's relegated to the past. The idea that you can be crazy, say whatever that you want to. Like, I'm just saying my truth. Yeah, your truth doesn't cut it because your truth is something that's going to get people hurt. So a lot of the crazy talkers with the loud voices, they go along the wayside because they're not talking about the future. They're talking about their future, not our future. And the louder you yell, the more likely you are going to be kicked out of the room or considered to be part of the old regime that got us into this place. And you're seen as a mouthpiece for rich and powerful people. And you're seen as somebody that just wants to divide. And people are just really tired of that. So get ready for your favorite people who like to holler and yell to go, to go by. It's really the last hurrah for the narcissists, the sociopaths, and the people that are trying to gaslight you, whether it be a corporation or individual. And I say goodbye and good riddance to those people. Why? Again, people are going to be coming into their own right in 2023. This is who I am. I am comfortable with this who I am. I will explain to you who I am, but I will not justify who I am or why I am. And in that sense, there's just a ridiculous amount of power. And all of these paper lions, paper tigers, they go by the wayside. Okay, so what can you expect on a month-to-month basis? I think I am going to go a little bit long, which I do truly apologize. I think I'm already over, but let's see. Yeah, well. Okay, so what's going to be happening in January? What do you need to know about January? January, things get stuck into a little bit of negativity due to confusion, supply chains and things like that. Don't let that confusion of others create problems that are going to get you stuck. Okay? Have a plan, have a backup plan. If you basically have a flight, figure out if you don't get on this one, how you can get on the other one. If you have a mortgage that you're going to be getting, look for things to get like sticky. Have a backup plan in case for some reason this mortgage doesn't go through, that you have that mortgage that can go through. In other words, in January, it's a really good idea to just have a backup plan. February, careful what you say. And what you're saying is that what's being said because people are watching. So February, be careful what you say, what you text, what you print, what you Facebook, what you Instagram, what you tweet, and all that shit. Make sure that what you say and who you say it to, you're saying it to people that are loyal and true, or else it's going to be you that's blue because it's going to be everywhere. So be careful what you say. I think February, you're going to see a lot of stuff drop around people saying things and doing things in electronic communications and different things like that. And they have definitely got their hands in the cookie jar where they shouldn't be. And that's going to be real fun for that to come out. Next part, March, where you're going to be taking away is, you're not going to be taking any sweet words. It looks like things are starting to break up in March. It looks like there's a lot of stuff in March in which people are going to want to have you go back to the old ways, put you back to sleep, and you're not going to take it. March, it talks about rebellion, and it talks about people saying, I'm not listening to the status quo anymore. I am done with crap. I am done with stupid things. I am going to go out and I'm going to have a better life, a stronger life, a healthier life. and your ways are not going to take me back to a bad situation or bad places for myself. So you stand up and say, I am going to roar. April, because let's face it, January, February, and March are kind of, but April, you have stability is restored. People have passion to be in control of their life, and it looks like they get it in a big and huge way. It looks like passion becomes the power. It looks like power is now kind of come from passionately caring about stability and for everyone, and not just for some people. So it talks about things equalizing. So in April, if you're looking to have that relationship, April looks like a really good month to find that really perfect person. May is all about communications, miscommunications. It talks about people being friendly with other people. And it talks about there will be demand for things to be dealt with. There will be some confusion as to what that looks like. And we're also going to be looking at May as, all right, so vices. You'll be looking at Twitter, and you'll be looking at communications and miscommunications. In other words, you'll be seeing a lot of people talking at people, and there'll be demand for these things to be dealt with. So communications, how people communicate, the way the news communicates, the way people talk to each other, all this stuff in May is going to be going on to a situation where people are definitely going to be like, everybody needs to walk their talk. And walking your talk in May is going to be incredibly important for everybody, okay? Not just the large internet companies and everything else, but everybody is going to be this. June, let the healing begin. In the work that we do and the work that we've done, there will be a sense of kindness, loving, and caring, and all that we do and the relationships that we have will proliferate in love. Literally is what it says. So you get a shakeup in the first part of the month. You get people called out. Stability is restored. There's some people who try and mount a counteroffensive. The counteroffensive completely fails due to a lack of understanding of what people are wanting, which is they don't want the divide anymore. They're just sick of it. And come June, let their summer of love begin. It's the second summer of love, and everybody's really happy. July, I see a return to family. When it comes to family, comfort, people will seek out comfort, solidarity. They will also kick out anybody who screws with their family or screws with their stability, including members in the family. So if you're in the family, you're a brother, sister, cousin, whatever the heck you are, and you're messing up the family dynamic, you're gone. It's going to be one of those things where this summer is looking really, really good, really, really positive, really happy. August is even better. August is the perfect time to shine in what you love and how you love. It says that you let go of things that hold you back or don't support you. And while you're letting go of these things from the past that no longer help you or help us grow, you become stronger and you shine. So August looks absolutely wonderful for you to premiere whatever it is that you want to premiere about yourself, your business, your situation, your relationship, whatever. You know, you want to tell the public, August, perfect time to talk to people. September, you reach a place where it's really about you. If you want to make a change in your job, your career, change your residency, go travel, anything, do it. Change. September, you'll crush it. Anything which will lead to change so that you can shine and be with the people who you love and be more in tune with, go for it. And that includes your work, anything. It's all really great to do that in September. So as the leaves start to change, the weather gets a little bit colder. September, you know, that fall change, that's a big change for you. Okay. It's not a hibernation change because in October, big changes in your business, how we do business, how you do business, all of that stuff. And for the country and for the world is done. And how we treat the environment and technology all changes in October. And I think that's going to be just a lot of reasons why is that I think some of the environmental stuff on the earth and things like that in October get a little messy, get a lot messy. And people are going to be looking for new jobs and creative ways in deciding how we can live better, work better, eat better, how we do our food, how we process our food, all of that stuff in October becomes very vital in sustainability. So look for huge changes in October for sustainability, especially environmental and food and different things like that. And the reason is that because people would kind of wake up and go, oh, this is just not going to work anymore. And so they create all kinds of different things that are really positive for the people that want to see change in those areas. November, look for major political upheaval and upheaval in the way the rich and powerful live their lives is what it talks about. It will no longer be chic to be one of these glitterazzi's or glamour people, as people will no longer feel kindred spirit to these people. Like, oh, I'd like to be like this person. It's like, oh, I am repulsed by that person. They used to live vicariously through these people. Now they're going to live vicariously through someone else in a different way. You're also going to see a lot of political major revelations in come November. November is when we are going to be getting ready to do some voting things, obviously, political things. November is a great month for that, especially big time in 2024. But November, it looks like it just looks like everybody's profiles on display. So I don't think you're going to get another Donald Trump where he can just hide his taxes again. It's going to be like people's lives are going to be splayed out in November, especially the rich, the famous, the powerful, and the political. It's all going to be there for people to see. December, you'll see a massive turning around of energies, making things far more positive than from November. And from 21, from 22, 21, and even 20. People are going to feel like things are more open, more honest. People decide to move forward. They're not going to be doing all the stupid things that they used to do in the past that are very unsuccessful, like frivolous lawsuits or things like that. I could see them going by the wayside. Judges getting hauled in front of court systems saying, you're protecting the status quo. We don't want that anymore. It will also be, people will have a lot more desire to explore, which means space, explore the sea, explore new forms of energy. And all of that brings great rewards to all kinds of people in all kinds of ways. So the December turnaround of energies is a positive direction in which success comes from people being honest and secrets are released, or information and technology is released, and people decide to just move forward in a new way. And it won't be a way in which the CEO makes 395,000 or 395 times more than the mid-level employee. It's going to be more of a collective and more of a going back to the 50s and 60s, in which you didn't have these wild disparities. The disparities in people, those chasms between rich and poor, between educated and uneducated, between whatever you want to say, that shrinks down greatly in 2023 because the divide is just getting too wide. And either they have to narrow the divide or the whole thing's going to just blow up. Kind of think of it like a tachometer on a car. You can rev the engine over to like 8,000, 9,000 RPMs, but you can't hold it there unless you want to have no engine left, unless you want to have 10,000 little parts on the I-5 freeway. They back it off. And it gives people a chance to coalesce and come together. And that is what it talks about for 2023 individually. If you want to know more, I'd be happy to help you or share with you all the different things of what's going to be happening in 2023. Please contact me at the website, Todd@Todd.Hershey. I think I really went way over what I was supposed to do, but it was a whole lot of fun. And if you have any questions, again, please contact me. Happy New Year. Best of luck in 23. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.